Hey, go to here. The Battle Pass has a freemium tier I'm sure you're all aware of by now, and this tier gives a 6-star weapon which a lot of people aren't used to. Now I've got a lot of questions asking guoba which weapon do I pick, and because of the way they're designed, you just pick the one you need depending on which limited operator you want. However, there is nuance and some people might pull multiple limited operators. So I'll go through them and how worth each one is, taking into account select boxes for things like Wedge on Yvonne. So like and sub for more Endfield guides and info, and let's begin. First, let's talk about the Battle Pass weapon system real quick. For 29 Ori geometry, you can buy the freemium tier, which will refund those 29 golden bulls and actually give you some profit. This is kinda weird when it could all be free and remove the 29 orbs, but hey, everyone should buy this if they can play enough to get the rewards. At level 40, we get a weapon selector, and this is stated to change every season. We don't know exactly when this is, but I'm assuming it's on a new patch with new operators. So we can also assume that every new patch will bring a new batch of these weapons, and so hopefully we get a pseudo signature for every new character. But this also means maybe we can't get another copy of a Battle Pass weapon until their rerun. We have to wait and see. Now on the paid tier you can get another box for a dupe of the one you just picked or to get a brand new weapon. On the paid tier, there are also protocolized weapon patterns which are basically letting you get a potential for any weapon in the pass. However, it is also stated that you can save these for weapon supplies from future pass seasons. So there's a choice to make. You can get up to potential 3 out of 5 on a specific weapon of your choice in this pass, or if you don't want any of these weapons, instead you can save these 2 boxes for a future pass weapon, letting you potential 2 if you don't buy the pass again, or potential 5 if you do. I hope that makes sense. This would also mean we could use it for past weapons, and therefore get a Pot 5 Umbral Torch next reset if we bought 2 passes. But even at potential 0, these weapons can be pretty good for their limited operators, at least in the first version, and I'll always have calcs in future character guides that go over any Battle Pass weapons anyway. Don't worry about spending if you can't, remember to have fun above all and play responsibly. Anyways, let's now check out our first 3 weapons. Umbral Torch first is our Laevatain pseudo-signature, and thankfully this got mega buffed from CBT2, it used to be completely garbage and her sig was a must pull for damage. Comparing the two, we have a base attack difference of only 20 and an intellect difference of 0. Our secondary boost is 43.3% heat damage, which is pretty balling, but 39% attack does just mog it. However, the passive of Umbral Torch has a little attack in it as well as additional stacking heat damage. Combustion or corrosion from anyone in the team must be applied to an enemy, and when doing so we'll get a 20-second duration buff up to 2 stacks. This can be your enhanced battle skills which are very frequent, your Wolfguard ults if using him, your Ardelia combos. It's really easy to keep this at 2 stacks in a prolonged fight. Forgeborn Scathe instead is like, hey, let's go ham on basic attacks as well as some heat damage, and whilst 120% basic attack damage is insane, it being specifically basic attacks helps out our boy Umbral Torch, which focuses instead on just buffing everything. So in my Laevatain simulations, Pot 0 Umbral Torch is not far behind the strength of Forgeborn Scathe. This is in a prolonged fight with Ardelia and Wolfguard, but even missing out on one of these 2 operators is still not too impactful, especially when considering AoE when we can accelerate the amount of combustions Laevatain herself can provide. If you manage to one day Pot 5 it, 90% of the strength of the signature. I don't think you need her sig at all, it does look drippy and I pulled it, but it isn't a gigantic increase over this weapon, only over anything that isn't this weapon. If you're only pulling Laevatain this patch, I'd obviously only grab Umbral Torch. Onto Angelina's weapons, Opus Edge Figure from the Battle Pass and delivery guaranteed from the Arsenal Exchange. The base attack difference is only 15, and again the main stat of Will has the same large value of 156. For our secondary boosts, however, we are looking at nature damage dealt on a supporter character versus ult gain efficiency. And this is Gilberta we're talking about, an operator that has all of her amplification backloaded into her ultimates. Now, since we hold her ult for the most important part of our team's combo, this ult gain difference isn't too crazy in practice. However, it would then let you technically swap off ult gain pieces for more of her damage. Anyways, then we have the passives, which are similar but enabled in different ways. And Pot 0 Opus Edge Figure gives an 8% arts damage dealt buff for 15 seconds when she applies Nature Infliction with her battle skill. For every enemy suffering from Nature Infliction applied by it, other operators get a bonus 3.2% up to 9.6% for a total of 17.6%. Arts damage buffs any damage that isn't physical, so this is perfect in her teams which will all be around reactions and elemental damage. Now I thought initially if you lost Nature Inflictions by causing reactions, you'd lose some of the damage percent, but you don't, so you are safe. As for the signature, we get 19.2% arts damage for 15 seconds again after applying lifted with the combo skill. And for every enemy lifted, we get a 5.6% bonus up to 16.8% for a total of 36%. So pretty much double the buff. But damage percent is pretty diluted in this game even in 1.0, so the buff itself isn't too impactful. I'd say the major thing is the conditional effect. Her signature doesn't need to use any SP, you just have it from the combo, so if she's not reacting with her skill or grouping, then I guess you'd much rather have this. This could be, for example, in a Yvonne hybrid team where you alternate nature and cryo stacking, which empowers delivery guaranteed versus the battle pass weapon, which would barely have uptime. Regardless of if you don't have her signature, I wouldn't pick the battle pass weapon for Gilberta. It does scale into AoE, but not by enough. She can use chivalric virtues into multi-target, Monai if using corrosion, stanza of memorials in non-nature DPS teams, detonation unit in comps with nature infliction stacking, etc. And the Sig has the benefit of being strong and usable in any type of playstyle, but so does stanza technically. Stanza, my beloved. Anyways, let's finish with Yvonne by taking a look at her battle pass weapon, Navigator, as well as her signature, Artsy Tyrannosaurus. A base stack difference of only 15, and again the same with the main attribute. Navigator offers us first a 43.3% cryo damage dealt, a large bonus indeed. But Artsy gives us 19.5% critical rate, which Yvonne loves unlike any other operator right now. I'd say both secondary bonuses are great though. Either way, Navigator clutches up with some much smaller crit rate in the passive, and then another stacking small amount after solidification or corrosion is applied to enemies for 15 seconds. This also gives some extra cryo damage and is doubled if the wielder applies the effect. Her game plan is all about applying solidification, so this is perfect. A thing to note as well is that if someone else applies either one of these two reactions, the better buff won't be ruined by this weaker buff, you'll keep the bigger one. As for her signature, we get a nice permanent cryo damage buff and then conditional cryo damage on top and then more on top. After critically hitting with her battle or combo, we get a 22.4% buff for 30 seconds, and this can stack up to 3 times and will be easily maxed out during an extended fight. I mean, even just one combo can do it thanks to its energy pulses that can crit. Just make sure you have her good gear set and pieces to crit enough times. So overall, we're looking at 54.5% cryo damage and 12% crit rate versus 92.8% cryo damage and 19.5% critical rate. It's a decent difference. But looking at possible stats or possible damage is not a good measure. Now, I'm not 100% sure if my calcs are fully ready, but I have P5 Navigator and P0 Navigator at a similar level versus Artsy to how Umbral Torch is compared to Forgeborn Scathe for Laevatain. It's just a few percent weaker. So basically, Yvonne is still completely fine with the Battle Pass weapon. Now, unlike Laevatain, we also have Wedge we can pick up just fine from the level 45 Selector box, or just by eventual 75% losses on the weapon banner. And this performs better than Pot 0 Navigator anyway. Laevatain's only thing in these two places is White Knight Nova, which is garbage on her. If you want Laevatain, pick Umbral Torch. If you want Yvonne, pick Wedge from the 45 box or Navigator from the pass. And if you want Gilberta, you have so many options so you can ignore the Battle Pass weapon completely. In case you pull all 3 operators, you'd have so many arsenal tokens you could definitely get a Sig or 2. But for a no weapon pulling gamer, I would get Umbral Torch Lay, Wedge Yvonne from the 45 Selector, and then use any other good weapon on Gilberta. And for other users outside of these limited units, well, not only are these Battle Pass weapons very specific to the wearer on the passive, but they are also specifically scaling on their main attribute, and they have heat or cryo or nature damage bonuses in their second slot, very strictly locking them into only these 3 operators when paired with the passive. So even though it says you can get nature damage on Lay and Yvonne's weapons, I wouldn't put them on future nature DPS. I guess Gilberta's weapon may have a shot in the future with another nature infliction arts unit wielder, but again, arts units gamers have so many good and better options. So let me know what weapon you've picked or will end up picking, and like and sub if this video helped you out at all. Thanks for watching as always guys, and have a guoba day.